Hello, everybody, and welcome to Talks with Iron Nomad. Today, I introduce you to a Twitch streamer with the name Debacle. First, we'll cover a little bit of his background, and then we'll dive into tips and tricks he has on dealing with anxiety. Hope you enjoy. If you enjoy these podcasts and would love to show your support, consider becoming a patron. Doing so will allow me to focus on more podcasting content. You can do this at patron.podbean.com/ironnomad. Thank you. I like to do like a little background when we first start, and then learn a little bit more about you, who you are, where you come from, and then I dive into what this podcast is mainly about: anxiety.
Right.
So from I know you said that you were in the Marines. How long were you in there for?
I was in for 2 years.
Okay, and
Yeah,
and then you said you got out in 2009. You said
2009.
2009. Okay. When you were in, did you play video games? Were they a part of your life at all, or did you become more into video games after the military?
I've always been into video games.
Okay.
Like, I actually have a PlayStation tattoo. I don't know if I can bring it up into the camera.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't
Yeah. I
know if
see
I
it
should.
perfectly. Yep. That's awesome.
But I got that because of my grandmother and my mom and everybody. For Christmas one year, they got me a PlayStation, and it was a little PlayStation X, the
Mhm.
little white console,
Yep.
and they got me a TV. But I was so excited about having the PlayStation. And the first words were out of my mouth, "Oh my God, I have a PlayStation. Now all I need is a TV and I'm set." And I'm so excited. And they're like, "Go look in your room." And I go in my room and I'm looking around and looking around and looking around and I don't see anything. I come back out and they're like, "You didn't see it?" I was like, "No." And I went back in and looked again and came back out. Finally, they go in there and show me there's a 32-inch TV sitting on my dresser that I ran by 3 times.
You were so
But I was
excited.
so excited that I completely missed this big brown box.
Oh.
And it's not like TVs nowadays where it's a box this thick. I mean, we're talking a big tube TV. You know, we're talking like, what was it, 2001?
Okay.
So we're talking big tube TV. There's no way you can miss it, and I missed it. But I was just so excited over that PlayStation that I couldn't think of anything else. But I got this because in 2004, my grandmother committed suicide.
Oh, okay.
And that
Okay.
was one of my fondest memories, was because we were all there as a family and deal. And it was one of the last memories that I have with her like that, where we were all there. We were all overly excited for something.
Yeah.
And, everybody, I'll get on and I'll be like, yeah, I'm a PS4 fanboy and everything. And yes, I am. But at the same time, the tattoo is more for the memories than it is to announce that I'm a fanboy.
Exactly. It's like, yes, I am a gamer, but there's a memory behind it. There's actual reason behind a tattoo. Like I like that. That's awesome. I ask everyone that comes on, and I didn't get a chance to ask you right away. What actually got you into gaming? Uh, beyond getting your PlayStation. Was there anything? Was there anything before that, or was there another time when you were a kid that was a certain push that truly got you into gaming? Like, what was there anything in particular that got you into?
My dad
Okay,
bought a Super Nintendo when I was a kid,
awesome.
and we used to sit down on the weekends when he was off work. He's a police officer,
Oh, nice.
and so when he would have the weekends off, we would sit down and play Super Street Fighter and Madden 90, and that was our big thing. That's what we, and then I would play Super Mario when he wasn't there to play with me or whatever,
Hmm.
but that was our thing, and I guess in a sense, you know, it's one of those things where gaming has always had some kind of tie like that to me, where it's always brought me some kind of bond with a family member or somebody that's important to me.
Yeah,
With and then the Super Nintendo, it's my dad. With the PlayStation, it was my mom and my grandmother. And with my PS4, it's everybody,
yeah.
my
That's awesome.
community. So but that
What was that drive? You know, what's the motivation behind you being like, you know what? I'm going to stream for people.
um actually it came from Battle Native. Me and him were gaming together,
Mhm.
and his viewers could hear me, and we were all joking and laughing while I was playing because finally gotten a PlayStation 4, and me and him were playing Battlefield 4 together, and his viewers could hear me, and some of them had made comments about me having my own stream.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
And I said, I don't know. I don't have anything. I don't have a camera. I don't have this. I don't have that. They're like, you don't need all that. You can do it directly from the PlayStation and this, that, and the other. I'm like, wait, what? And so finally, December 23rd of 2015, I broke down, and that was my very first live stream. I think it lasted for just over 3 hours.
Oh, awesome.
And that was my first channel. That channel eventually grew to over almost 300 or 1,300 followers.
Holy cow.
And then life happened, and I ended up losing everything and moving to Phoenix, Arizona, chasing work.
Okay.
I had a buddy out that put me up out there and everything. In the transition of moving from where I was to Phoenix, my phone broke, which had my Authy app on there that gives you the verification code.
Oh, snap.
And so I got locked out of that account. I couldn't reset anything. I couldn't get back into it. And so I want to say it was sometime in March of 2018, 2017, one of those years. It's all blurry. But no, it was March of 2017. I started this channel, which was initially named Debacle Gaming.
Okay. Okay.
And we kind of took off from there. I had about 30 people that followed me from the old channel to the new channel.
Oh, that's
because
awesome.
at that time I didn't have Twitter, or I had Twitter, but I didn't utilize it within my stream. So I had no universal way to contact people and say, hey,
This is me.
we've had issues, so we've been locked out of the account, but I've created a new account. If you want to continue following and being here for the streams, this is where you can find me. I didn't have that. And so the few people that I had contact with, which is a mod for me today, he's been following me since the beginning. But
That's awesome. That's good support. Great,
yeah,
great support.
More or less what it's boiled down to is streaming is one of the few things that I find pleasure and find joy in. I mean, the older I get, the more jaded I feel with the world, with the way things have become. And it feels like the more and more things become the way they have been, the more I feel inclined to become reclusive from it. And this is my gateway into the world. In a sense, I get to control who comes and who goes and be a part of it, because people aren't going to come here and stay around if they don't agree with what I have to say or the way I do things.
Absolutely.
If they don't agree with it. So in a way, it weeds out those that I don't want around while bringing in those that I do want around. And of course, you're going to have your trolls and stuff and this, that, and the other, but instead, it allows me to have my own corner of the internet that it's mine. Nobody can take it from me unless I just completely screw up.
Yeah. Yeah, something wild or something that.
Yeah, if I go, doing a helicopter on a stream for a sub or something.
So before you go live, okay, when you're getting yourself ready, everything's good, you're getting yourself amped up, you're about to go play some games, talk to your chat and all that. You ever get any anxiety or any butterflies or any kind of you get hyped at all or anything like that?
No. The anxiety's long gone. I've been doing this long enough that I don't get the anxiety anymore.
Okay, yeah.
Like the first stream, I was nervous. I was palm sweaty, knees weak, mom spaghetti stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, actually streaming now is more of it's more of a release for me now. It's something that
That's awesome.
that I enjoy doing. Um, my anxiety is more real life based.
Okay.
I don't get nervous being in front of the camera or anything like that. Going to Walmart is hell for me.
Okay.
Just
Yep.
simply going grocery shopping. I have to really psych myself up to have to go, especially if I know it's going to be busy.
You try to avoid those times as best as you can. Like, do you try to plan your grocery experience or going to the Walmart or anything like that around times that you think it might be less crowded and stuff?
I used to be real bad about that. Like I would go at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Yep.
Like I would go to bed early, go grocery shopping, come home, put everything away, then get ready to work and go to work.
Okay.
Just so that I could avoid having to do all that. Now, I've been self-treating, I guess you could say, in the fact that I did what was it, exposure therapy, he called it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where I started off where I would go early in the morning where there were some people there, but not a whole lot. And I would do that until I didn't feel anxious about being around those people. And then I would go when it was a little bit busier. And I just slowly worked my way up. And now I'm working on the whole going, the day before Thanksgiving, 500,000 people in one Walmart. And you're rubbing elbows with some stranger and you can't figure out what that smell is. And I think it's that kid, but I'm not sure.
Yep.
And, and everybody's trying to buy everything and everybody's running into everybody. And, my thing is when I get into a large crowd like that, I feel trapped. I feel like I can't move. I can't go anywhere. There's too much going on. I can't keep my eyes on everybody. Somebody might try to do something and I need to be able to see it happening before it happens so that I can either A, get the hell out of Dodge or do something about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I instantly go into fight or flight mode and I can't, like, I start shaking, I start sweating, I start balling my fists. I can feel my adrenaline going, ready to rock and roll. And everybody else is like, did you say you wanted sweet peas or corn? I'm ready to fucking box everybody in the building, and everybody else is just, picking up lunch meat,
Yeah, that's what, that's what's wild about anxiety. It's one of those things that it's not something that anyone can point out. I can walk by 10 people and 3 of them can have anxiety, and I wouldn't be able to tell. I wouldn't be like, all right, you're having a hard time. You're okay. You're having a hard time. Like, it's not something that we can, see. It's there's no scarlet letter on you saying like, hey, by the way, this guy's having, this guy or gal's having some panic right now. So do what you can. So I think sometimes, and this is just coming from me, I think sometimes it kind of makes it worse because I don't want to, to exhibit signs. So I start getting in my head internally, like, all right, I'm hot. Like cause I sweat. I'm a bigger guy. My biggest thing, right when my anxiety starts pumping up is I sweat. So my armpits start getting wet and my fists start getting real sweaty. And then I'm like, damn, hope this deodorant holds up. It's like one of those things that like I start like analyzing every little freaking detail about my life. Then I'm like, okay, I did take a shower this morning, so I shouldn't stink. But man, what if this lady sees me that I'm sweating? And she's like, then she's concerned about me. Or like, what if this guy's looking and he's like, man, why is that guy's eyes darting so much? And then I'm the bad guy because I'm the one out of place at the time when everyone else, is just going to the grocery store, like you said, for lunch. It's lunchtime. There's more people in the grocery store, and I go in there to grab something real quick and get out. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm walking down the aisle super fast, or I'm doing something. I'm cruising. You know what I mean? And people were like, what's he in the hurry for? Like, what's he doing?
You're trying to hurry down the aisle. You got tunnel vision. You bump into somebody. You don't say anything because you're just focused on getting
exactly.
in and,
and then I'm the dickhead.
The cashier's like, how's your day going? I'm like, hurry up and cash me out. Hurry up and cash me out. Hurry up and cash me out. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's go. You're taking too long. You should scan that 3 seconds faster. Let's move it.
Yeah,
You know?
and for me personally, it's worse because usually I'm with my wife, and then sometimes I'll have my daughter with us or whatever, and then it's just everything gets amplified because then like she wants to maybe go look at this or my daughter might be like she's in like her screaming phase right now. She's 17 months old, so she starts wailing
luck.
just to hear her voice. And
Yeah.
then everyone starts looking at me, and I'm like this isn't good right now. But but you know what? I personally did the exposure, and my wife actually helped me with it because I never told her when we started courting together that I had anxiety as bad as I did. I kind of just let it go, let it happen. So we went on a couple dates to the movies, and then we would go to a store together or do whatever together, and I kind of just went through the motions, and kind of boxed myself in my own head. And because of her continually, first off of her not knowing, and then continuously being like, all right, let's go to the movies tonight, or hey, I got to go to the store, let's go, at random times where there is a lot of people, it kind of kept me in the exposure to it, and it kind of worked out pretty good because it helped me a lot. Like we've been married for long enough to where it's the therapy worked. I guess you could say, and I'm not nearly as bad as I was when we first got together. And that's something that I for one see being the biggest impact with help. Helping people that don't want to go out and get medicated, or don't want to go out and maybe talk to a healthcare professional. To me, I feel like a lot of people are, not scared, but they don't want to talk to somebody that has a medical degree in it. When someone has that doctor in front of their name and they're like, nope, I'm good, but I'll sit here and talk to you. You'll sit here and talk to me. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny how it works that way. Like, we're both people, and they're people too, but I'd rather discuss my stuff with someone like you, or you know what I mean, and
Right.
not have to go sit in a weird office with no windows, and I start panicking right away because it's always hot in those buildings, and somebody wants to talk to me about my past for 45 minutes, and I'm with you with the so-called self-medicating. I try to develop habits that I call them habits, but they're little tricks to help me get through my worst anxiety. And that's something that I definitely like to hear. Is if there's like one single thing, okay, when you're feeling at your worst, like this is the big one kind of thing. Panicky, panicky. We're talking.
Yeah.
Anxiety's crushing you. Is there something to help you push through that?
Me personally, I'll call back to my training in the Marines.
Okay, yeah.
They when you're going through boot camp, they drill maintaining your composure into your head. So like I commented on a feed the other day about how I can flip a switch in my head and shut off. When it comes to it, I flip that switch
Yeah.
and it shuts everything. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. But it helps me bring the anxiety down. It allows me to focus on what I need to do, get it done, and then get home, and then I turn the switch back on. Then all that stress and all that, it comes back,
Hmm?
but I'm able to deal with it at home. So if I need to break down or whatever, I can do it here without causing a scene or whatever.
Yep.
And basically, I just build a mental block to hold it back long enough for me to do what I need to do and get home. And then when I get home, I take the mental block down, I let it all out, I get it out. And it may not be the healthiest way of dealing with it,
Hmm?
but for me, it's the most effective way of keeping it from becoming a debilitating.
Yeah.
it doesn't keep me from doing what I need to do. And, I mean, even when I was doing the exposure stuff, I would get to a point where I would have to do that, and then I would shut everything down, go home, have my freak out, and I'd be all right. It would take me a few hours to calm down, finally get to where I felt like I didn't have to fight the first person I saw or run from everything. You know, it's one of those things where there's a switch, flip it.
Yeah.
I've dealt with anxiety and stuff like that. Getting out of the Marine, you're in this mentality of watch everybody and be careful and watch your back and, you know, this, that, and the other. And you get out here and everybody's kind of flailing around, living life. You know, the carpet's been pulled out from under you. There's no preparation for how free everything is.
Yep. Yep.
There's no structure whatsoever, and you literally are able to do whatever the hell you want. And the problem is coming from living in a structured world to a world with no structure is you don't know what the hell you want.
No.
And there's so many options available to you that you don't know how to pick because nobody's there to tell you, okay, you're best suited for this, go with this.
Yes.
Or,
exactly.
You know, there's none of that. And so I spent I got out in 2009. I probably spent 6 years being homeless, bouncing from couch to couch.
Oh, no shit.
Being with, you know, meet somebody online, you know, manipulate their feelings, move in with them. Shit goes south after 3-4 months. Be like, deuces, I'm gone. Pack up and move on. And I did that for a long time, and I was a real asshole. I was a real bastard. I was real bad about manipulating people and abusing them mentally, as far as saying what I felt I needed to say to get what I want, a place to stay long enough for me to move on to, you know. And finally one day I just woke up and said, tired of being, I want to have more than just I got you, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when I actually discovered streaming, because I'd finally settled down and I was bored. And I had nothing to do, and I was like, I didn't have a console or anything. All I had was my cell phone. And I had found Twitch through a Google search because I was looking for video streaming. I wasn't thinking video game.
Oh, no shit. So you just stumbled upon it then. It wasn't.
Yeah.
You weren't out looking for it. It kind of fell into your lap, huh?
Yep. And then I got on there, and I was a big I played Battlefield Play for free.
Oh, okay, yeah,
back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually part of a clan that won the North America. Technically, we won, but we came in second place because they. We came in second place in the North American tournament hosted by EA.
Whoa, jeez.
And you know, and that's what got me into first-person shooters and stuff like that. Because beforehand, my experience was RPGs on PlayStation.
Okay, yeah, yep.
And so that got me into first-person shooters and everything. And then kind of did my little vagabond thing where I bounced around for a little while. And then finally, when I finally decided to settle down and start trying to plant roots and get on my feet and everything, I found Twitch haphazardly and started watching a streamer called Battle Native. He was a Native American streamer.
Okay.
That streamed Battlefield. He was actually exceptionally good at it. And I mean, I ended up becoming a mod of his. He was getting 40, 50, 60, 70 viewers a night.
Oh, wow.
And then there was another guy, Russian Paladin, who was a big-time streamer. And I believe he actually got part. And I was a mod for a while. And between those two, I was interested in streaming, but coming up with to get streaming equipment, I thought
Yeah.
it was this big, elaborate. You have to have a computer, capture card,
Yep.
monitors. You have to have all these things to do this.
It's crazy. That's what everyone kind of thinks. Like they think that you have to go elaborate at first, but your firsthand, you you do it awesome, and you just use your PS4, correct?
Yeah,
You
I
stream
use
right
my
off your PS4.
PS4
Yeah.
in the phone that I'm using right now,
Okay.
and a 55-inch, a 55-inch flat screen 4K HD.
Okay. Right on. And that's it. And your headset,
Yeah.
the headset that you're using right now.
Yep.
That's how you talk. That's how
$60
you.
headset.
That's so awesome. And you're rocking and rolling.
Dude, I use the headset around the house. If I'm on the phone with my mom or something and I'm doing something in the house, I'll plug the headset into the phone, stick it in my pocket. I'm talking to her while I'm doing whatever I need to do.
That's great.
I mean, I use this headset for everything.
That's awesome.
It's freaking awesome. I love it.
Heck yeah.
Shout out to Astro.
Yeah, that's what I'm using. That's why I use the Astro. I have the Astro A50s. My wife got them for me for when I graduated school, college. Mentally are in there, and you flip your switch. Do you visualize it, or is it something that is more like you self-talking or internalizing it? Like, all right, hey, it's time to flip this switch and let's get through this moment. Or are you more, do you use like your imagination at all, or internalize it and actually physically like see a switch at all? Do you ever do something like that?
It's more like an internal declaration.
Okay, yeah.
It's more of I take a second, take a deep breath. Okay, we're done with this shit. I block it, and then for that time I can think clearly, but at the same time I have no regard for any. I could care less about little Susie who fell and busted her knee. It's one of those. I basically I get goal oriented to the point that nothing else matters.
Okay.
I'm here to get my groceries, or I'm here to buy this. I'm here to do that, whatever the case may be. I get in, I get out, I go home, I tear everything down that I built up to get to this point. Of course, just like any dam, when it tears down, everything that got held back comes out at once.
Yeah.
So it's like, I didn't experience all of that anxiety and all that stress while I was going through this, but when I get home, it's going to be there waiting for me. And so instead of breaking down in the middle of a store, causing a scene, paramedics and all this other stuff, and then having to go to a hospital and sit in a psych ward for 72 hours because they think you're knucking futs.
Yeah.
I deal with it on my own, because I mean, as far like you were talking about how people don't like going to doctors, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I've experienced it firsthand because I tried to go on the route of medication.
Okay.
And my personal experience anyway is going to a doctor, you feel like they're looking at you as the diagnosis instead of as a person with it. When John Doe walks through the door, oh great, Mr. Depression is or Mr. Anxiety is here. Captain Bipolar has just walked in the doors.
Okay. Yep. It's the label.
Exactly. They're dealing with they're trying to work on the anxiety instead of working with the person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they're so quick to prescribe medication instead of saying let's try a non-medicated route first.
Yeah.
Let's try to see if this kind of therapy will work, or let's see if talking about this will get you through it and help you find the root cause of it all and get past it, or any of that. It's instantly, bam, here's a shot of Thorazine, feel great.
Yeah.
It's just, nowadays there's no longer that doctor-patient relationship. It's doctor diagnosis.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I moved around a lot and went to different therapies and different doctors for pretty much every time I moved. I got established with a new person. Some I didn't like, so I'd tell them, hey, I'm not coming back. I didn't like that person. They'd give me somebody else or switch me around, or hey, try this person, blah blah, whatever. And there were plenty of times where they're like, hey, maybe you should take this pill or try this for a little bit. And I just never agreed with them. Like, I just wasn't that big into medicine. And some people it may help. Personally, for me, I know a lot of people that have been battling uh, tons of mental, um, just different things mentally. And I'd say there's maybe a handful that like the medicine route. I'd say maybe, and this is out of maybe 45, 50 people. I'd say maybe 5 of them enjoy doing the medicine. And so it's crazy to me that, and this is one of the main reasons I wanted to start this podcast, is because you're telling me out of almost 50 of my friends and 50 people I know, that 5 of them like medicine, but that's the first thing that the doctor's going to do. They're not going to sit there and get to know you, get to talk to you, figure out really what's bothering you. They're just going to give you medicine, and only 5 people actually really like it, or not even really like it. 5 people will continue that treatment path because maybe they, are like, hey, maybe if I give it some time, this medicine will work.
Yeah.
That's a huge ratio. You know what I mean? That's something that I don't know why. I personally don't know why we're not looking into that more. I mean, I can tell you because big companies like they they make money off of it, and that's one of the things. Push it down because it struck me, and this is a little bit of my personal life. That's the first thing all the time. Hey, what medicine have you been taking, or what have you taken in the past? Like, what? Why? I understand you're asking me for a reason because you see I'm not on medicine now, and maybe you want to prescribe that or something. But why would that be your first question? You know what I mean? Why would no, let's talk, let's get to know each other and
Yeah.
and figure out what the problem is, because maybe there's some deep issues that I have that we can talk about and get through it together and and work on it. Not dull my senses because you want to give me a magical pill. You know what I mean? And like I said,
Like,
if people like that, that's good on them. Like, please continue taking your medicine. Always listen to your doctor. I'm not a doctor, 100%. There's
yeah.
tools that have
Absolutely.
helped me with it, and that's what I'd rather do. I'd rather have a tool belt with that switch you talked about. You know what I mean? Like, I want
Yeah.
that to be a habit for me. I want to be able to oh, let's see. Here's the switch Debacle talked about. Because I'm imagination person. I have a very, very,
Yeah.
very vivid imagination. That's what a lot of times amps up my social anxiety that I get. And I want to picture myself, a little Iron Nomad in there flipping that switch, and I want to feel that. Oh, okay, let's do this. Goal oriented, like you talked about. Those are the kind of things that help. As those are the kind of things
Yeah.
that we need to be telling people about and helping people with, not some magic stupid pill.
Right. No, and I completely agree. Now, and don't get me wrong, I understand there is a place for everything. Medication does serve its purpose
Yep.
in those extreme cases where the anxiety is so much that it's debilitating to the point that somebody can't function. That's where I could see medication serving a purpose and helping bring that person's sense of alertness down so that they're not overly bombarded by everything, and it could bring them down to a level that these mental exercises, if you will, can work. But it should be a temporary solution in order to get that person to a point where they can train themselves to handle it on their own without the medication, and then wean them off the medication, and then as they're weaning off the medication, slowly work them into using these mental blocks, these mental exercises
Hmm?
to bring themselves to a level of normalcy so that they can function properly without the medication.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
You
That's
know, but
that that's
using
a good goal.
medication as a solution is not a solution.
No, it's a
A
band-aid. It's
solution
a
to the
band-aid.
problem Yeah, well, a solution to any problem means that it ends the problem. That is not a solution, that is a bypass. It bypasses the whole, I feel like this, so what do I do to deal with that? And go straight to, I'm a zombie.
Yeah,
Or,
exactly. Yep.
or I'm a less energetic, less enthused version of myself, or, I'm a different person because this medication puts me in this state of mind.
And then we lead into
Whereas,
tons of other problems too, like with some of the medications that I've tried, where it made me, like you said, a different person, dull, and just not into it. Not into the moment. Then it's like, well, crap. Well, if this medicine's helping me not be anxious, but now I'm a garbage man. Like, not a real garbage man, like a garbage person.
right.
I somebody that I don't want to be. And it's like, oh man, what? And we start getting into a whole host of other problems. You get
Well,
what I
then you
mean?
start. Well, like if you're like me, I'm not a very overly energetic person. I'm very chill, very relaxed, but I can get caught up in the moment and be hyped, get excited, and all that stuff. But like how I am right now with you, that's how I am 95% of the time of my life.
Oh, okay, right on.
And so being on medication brings me down to zero. Like I'm just like, don't even really talk, don't have any really interactions with anybody.
So it's
I
not
have no
you at all,
motivation.
basically. Like,
Exactly.
it's the
And it's
worst of
like,
yourself almost.
and it's like there were some days where I wouldn't even really realize that I had already gone through the day because I was just on autopilot all the time. I'd go to work, do my job, come home, sit down in front of the TV, and not even really watch anything, just have it on because that's what I do, you know? And, then you start to, because you have no energy to do anything, you start to go through this depression
Yep.
of, my life isn't fulfilling. There's no joy in it. It's like I don't enjoy playing my video games or doing my streaming or hanging out with my girl or any of that. I don't enjoy any of that. You know. So then you're feeling down and depressed because your girl doesn't think you want to be with her. You want nothing to do with her.
Yep.
Your streaming community is like, where have you gone, man? What happened to you? You were here one day, gone the next. You do show up, you're not even your usual self. And it's just like everything else starts to fall apart around you, but you're not anxious anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, we threw.
And it's like that depression then becomes an overwhelming thing, and now you're like, I need help, I'm depressed. And doc is like, oh, well, you're on this, try some Wellbutrin. you know this will help with your depression, and it also help you quit smoking if you decide to quit smoking. And it's like, doc, right now smoking is about the only thing I find any pleasure in. Don't take that away from me. And it's like, and it's like, I don't smoke anymore. I have my little vape, but that's about it. But
Did you quit? So you're quitting smoking? You're working on quitting smoking?
I actually quit smoking back in August of last year.
Oh, nice.
Very end of August, I had to have a surgery. The surgeon said he wouldn't do it if I was still smoking, and so I pretty much quit cold turkey because I only had about 2 weeks to quit before the surgery.
Oh, geez. So, awesome. Well, good job. Good job.
So I did that, and then back in January, my mom was diagnosed with cancer again, the second time.
Oh boy.
And there was talk that she might only have 2 years. The stress of that, and the stress of me being in a new apartment, my job, I don't make great money, so my budget's tight. When I had a roommate, I was a little more liberal with my money, while I was able to go into Crank and just stream, donate $80, $100 worth of subs to him.
Yeah.
Get everybody hyped.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I enjoy doing is I love making people smile.
Oh yeah,
And you know,
absolutely.
when you donate a sub to somebody and it's a streamer they really like, but they can't afford to, to spend that money, and you're able to just, oh my God, thank you so much. You can just visually see the smile in their text.
I love it.
And
I love it.
it's just a whole nother feeling. But you know, I don't have a roommate again. You know, I caught him smoking cigarettes in my apartment 3 times. Excuse me. And I said, you got to go. It's like, first, I don't smoke in my apartment, even if I did. Second, it's on my lease stating this is a non-smoking building. You don't smoke in here.
So it was like violating rules then.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is the second time I caught him, I gave him till the end of this month. So he would have time to find a place. He wouldn't be on the street. And then not even a week later, I caught him smoking it.
Oh,
I said, okay,
geez.
you're out.
Yeah. It was time to go
like,
then.
Yeah, it's like that. This ain't baseball, but this is your third strike. You're out, buddy. you know. I'd had enough. He had just, I mean, since he moved in with me, I caught him smoking cigarettes in my apartment. He had burnt a hole in a comforter of mine.
Oh, geez.
And just, when he first moved in, I was sleeping on the couch because I couldn't get comfortable in a bed. I'd been sleeping on couches for so long that sleeping in an actual bed just did not feel right to me.
Oh, wow.
And so I was sleeping on the couch, and I told him, you're more than welcome to my bed. I don't even really use the room. All that I ask is you don't smoke in my room because I don't want my stuff smelling like cigarettes for the day that I actually decide to start using it. And I busted him doing that. That was the first time I caught him smoking. And then the second time was after we moved into this one-bedroom apartment. And he started sleeping on the couch, and I'm sleeping in my bed. And then randomly throughout the night, I would smell cigarettes. I'm thinking, okay, I couldn't catch him actually smoking because, it was one of those things where I wouldn't smell it until after the fact. But one day I come out and I'm looking around and I notice there's a bunch of like crumbs and stuff all around the couch where he was sleeping. And so I went to go up and everything because I'm not going to have crumbs all over the floor.
Yeah.
I go to sweep it and I couldn't sweep it. I was like, what in the hell? And I get down and it's candle wax. And I'm thinking, what in the hell? Well, then I think back, there's been a couple of times where I told him, if you light a candle, that's fine. I don't care. Just put it out before you go to sleep. And then I'd come out and get something to drink and there's a candle lit and he's passed out on the couch.
Oh, man.
So I get down and I'm starting to scrape up the candle wax and I'm starting to notice there's little black flakes in it. Well, what he was doing was he was smoking in the house using the candle to light a cigarette, mask the smell of the cigarette, and ashing into the wax so that he could clean it up and throw it away without making a big mess.
Wow.
And because it's all in the wax, it drops straight to the bottom. It doesn't stick to anything, and there's no ashes in the trash can.
Jeez.
So I'm scraping up the wax, and I'm seeing the cigarette ashes in the wax. So I start looking around at his other stuff, and he's got, this little container with cigarette butts, and this little container with cigarette butts, and this little thing with cigarette butts. And I bit my tongue because he owed me $150. He paid me the $150, and not even 30 seconds later, I said, you have till the end of that's a shitty thing to do to somebody, but I mean,
yeah,
the $150 was, I paid his cell phone bill for him 1 month. That was $60. He owed me $40 for the comforter. He owed $10 in back rent out of the $100 that he didn't pay the previous.
Oh, geez.
And then there was a couple other things that he owed me. And, I just told him, give me $150, we'll call it square. And then I catch him smoking and everything, and I don't say anything. And so I'm making a cup of coffee, and I'm just nonchalant. I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to rush you or anything, but when can you get me that $150? And it's like, I have things I want to do with this. The sooner I can get it, the sooner I can get it taken care of. He's like, yeah, I can go ahead and pay you right now. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, good, because we can get this over with right now.
We can knock everything out right now, buddy.
It's just like, Hey, I didn't put the cart before the horse at all. Let's go. You know, and I'm joking about it, but I felt bad because me and him were both at the same homeless shelter here in town.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was homeless for about 5.5 months when I moved back to Texas from Phoenix.
Yeah.
You know, and that was because my mom could have put me up. I could have stayed with my mom, but she lives out in the country and there's not really any jobs and I don't have a vehicle.
Okay.
So I needed to be around public transportation. And then, so instead of going there and being a hassle and a burden on her, she's already got enough shit going on dealing with the after effects the first time she was dealing with cancer.
Yeah.
And so she had enough going on. My sister's 19 now. And so, I mean, way too much going on for her to have to turn around, worry about a 30-year-old son.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So I'm like, you know, it's like, I love you and I'd love to come stay with you, Mom, but, you know, I'm going to go here. So I went to the shelter. I stayed there. I had the surgery done. I quit smoking. I got a job, found an apartment, and moved into the apartment within 5.5 months of moving back to Texas. And so it was one of those things where I was just like, I hit the ground running, like full sprint. And the only reason I didn't have a job before the surgery was because I went to the hospital, and within my first visit of meeting my PCP, she had already got me set up with a consultation for surgery.
Oh.
And so it was one of those things where they set me up with a consultation. 2 weeks later, I went to the consultation. 3 weeks after the consultation, I was having the surgery. So within 5 weeks of me being homeless, I was already having a surgery.
Jeez.
So there was really no point in me getting out and job hunting to turn around and take 3 weeks off of work because I can't do anything because the surgery was on my ass.
Okay.
I had a polynoidal cyst that formed over my tailbone.
Oh, crap.
And it had actually gotten to the point where it had gotten into some of the pores into my back end. And they actually had to cut me open and clean all the pores out around it because it had actually started to spread into other stuff.
Oh, wow.
And so I was down for about 3 weeks.
Jeez.
But within a week of me getting released to go back to full duty, I got the job that I have now, and I've been working with them ever since.
Cool. Things good with there? Everything?
It's a job.
Yeah.
I mean, it pays the bills, puts food on the table, even if it is just beans and rice. You know, I don't make any extra. Like I said, I'm a firm believer in there's no reason any human being should have to work 2 full-time jobs or even full-time and a part-time to support themselves as a single individual. And so, and in being that way, I mean, I do go without quite a bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I personally feel like I get a lot more out of it because I get more time for my. And that's the thing that really means a lot to me. Like, jobs come and go, this, that, and the other, so on and so forth. But my stream is my heart and soul.
Yeah.
I put everything I have into it, and that's why it affects me so much when it isn't going. And that's why I get so elated when it goes really good, like tonight. Like, I'm still riding that high.
Yeah.
When I get off here, I'm probably going to go do a little dance in front of the mirror back over here.
That's awesome.
Because I feel that good.
That's good. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So streaming definitely puts you in that mental zen place. It's definitely relaxes you and keeps you going, and that's awesome. That's awesome.
It was my first gaming experience. It's what really got me.
Right on. I appreciate you sharing. I also appreciate you coming out and talking, buddy, a lot.
Yeah, man. I could go on for hours. I'm a talking force.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as I did recording it. If so, please subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with my future podcasts. Thank you.